I would like to exercise some caution. This is not the final version of Midjourney's V5. As mentioned in the fine print, this is a next generation image system, but through the rating, we can see a couple of the different things. The images that we're going to be looking at are not the final images as mentioned in the fine print over here. These images are not representative of the version 5 algorithm that will be released by Midjourney, but they would be plain, boring, and unopinionated. So if you're a paying member, you should definitely go to this link. And with that aside, let's go and see what are the potentials of version 5. As you can already see, I have already rated so far 230 images, but just from the start now, we can already see the icons look much better, and the images also look like they could be a part of an illustration. It can be super hard to actually select from a human standpoint. So at this point, I'm just going to go with something that feels more close to me. Obviously, that's exactly what they've also mentioned in the Midjourney fine print, is that you need to just help select the system so that it can build up for something, and if it matches to your own aesthetic. So I'm just going to click with this specific image, and I'm going to start with that. And then again, we can also see that between these two images, I don't find anything that's specifically good over here. However, this one feels a lot more painterly. Now clearly, version 4 already has good impressions with logos and icons. But if we see right over here, initial concept I think would be a good introduction, because this is almost a ready logo. I mean, this even has a good M that has always been an issue in the past with how the types are. In this one, it would honestly look like a photograph, like it actually feels like a photograph. Clearly, you can already see how realistic this is, because this looks like any kind of a game console, whether it's a PlayStation or an Xbox. As for this one also, a very nice articulate column piece. I mean, if this was a product shoot, you could also see it's so fine. Clearly, between the two illustrations, I would say it is super hard by now to actually select anything. I'm going to go really quick now, and I'm going to just keep clicking on the images that I feel is more preferable. And I'm going to also show you the images, and we're going to discuss about them. there you have it. I did 10,000 of them, but here are a few of my observations from some of the images that I was able to collect and sift through. Like, say for an example, this last image over here, if I just put this on Instagram, you wouldn't be able to say if this was done by Midjourney, because so far Midjourney has its own specific style with version 4. But with this new kind of model, it might lean more towards photographic. Now, here are some of the findings that I have. First, I have this fruit which looks almost realistic. And then it's also interesting that I found one of the images to be giving a different angle and the light coming in. Again, it's really photographic. It's almost like it's shot by a GoPro. So that was an interesting observation. Even if it's not photographic, when it is like a toy or when it's plastic, you can actually see the texture. So that is something that's really something to note. Again, I want to make it really clear that this rating system is only helping the team in Midjourney to help release the new version that will come out soon. So this by no means is the version 5, but just by seeing this, and if we understand anything, it might just get better than where it is from whatever we've seen through some of the images here and there are also not completely up to scale. I'm also kind of curious to see which all parameters would work that already work with the existing version 4. This, for an example, could be a good game asset. Like if you wanted to just build a game asset, this actually is already developed like that. So that was interesting, and that was an interesting find from the 10,000 images that I was rating through. Then obviously this one is literally like an Unreal Engine's render, but again, it was something that's supposedly a Model 5 rendition, so that's going to be interesting to see how we could create something like this. Obviously, all of the images that are there for the rating systems have only been in the square format, so they haven't given us anything for the landscape or the portrait or the landscape formats. So I'm guessing that's going to come out eventually, but just for the rating purposes, we were given all squares. Again, you can see this almost like a toy-like element, but still it feels like it's not exactly a toy, but it feels kind of like toy photography to an extent. It has been a little bit of a challenge with Midjourney's version 4 to actually achieve a kind of photorealism that DALL-E has, but I think with version 5, it can take it above and beyond. Like this one clearly is a nice, clean, Pixar-style 3D image. So that's also something nice to see that that's being worked on. So this was also an interesting observation that I saw was a cityscape. Now this is borderline 3D render, gives off that kind of thing, but overall the lighting and the coherence of the different kinds of lights and the time of day, I think that's really a good job over here. Well, this one by far is just a photograph. I mean, this is just a photograph. If I just took this and put it on any social media, I think people wouldn't even be able to distinguish it. There is no observable difference here, except for maybe this baby owl over here, but otherwise it's just purely a photograph. So that is astounding that they were able to get this, and just even for rating, this is how the results are coming up. So that's astounding. Now this one just looks like an upright product photo. So that's just without a question. Even icons and graphics of different textiles, like this almost feels like an Arabic textile with different texture for a logo or a graphic. Really nice. Again, more game design. I think these really are coming to a level where you could literally just take this and put it into a game. Again, I want to keep putting a disclaimer that these are by no means the final version, but these are just interpretations of what the final version 5 could look like. Just by what I'm looking at, version 5 looks so much more promising. Like even this street image looks like a street anywhere in the world. Like if I just took this image, the shadows and the highlights and everything just looks perfect. So they are getting somewhere with that. Illustrations and even some photographs. I think one of the most notable things of all amongst some of the images that I was able to get, obviously we do have some poster designs, and obviously the text, they are able to add more typefaces. They didn't have specific text, but I am seeing a lot of stronger typefaces, which has been an issue with the version 4, because adding specific typefaces were not the strongest suit for version 4. We had to go in other software to actually edit those. What has been most notable that I have also noticed, and I've also gotten a reply on Instagram, was that the fingers look like they are getting a much more finer tweak to it, in that you're actually having 4 fingers and not 5 or 6 or 10. So I think the fingers look really good. Obviously, poster designs are getting way better now. This actually could just become its own kind of a thing. Some of them are a little bit off, but overall it's getting really strong. Like if we see just the fingers over here, you can exactly see, and that's what defines and I think distinguishes where we are currently and where we will be going. Because I think version 5, if this is how they're going to be adding the fingers, because finger designs with even with DALL-E I've seen, and even with Midjourney and Stable Diffusion has been quite the challenge. But with these new images from the rating system, I can see many of them having the fingers exactly how we have fingers, which is 4 fingers and 1 thumb. Obviously there is one slight error over here, but that's okay. That's a slight, but we do have 4 fingers over here. Photorealistic images. These are just photographic by any means. I mean, this could be given on any platform and you would literally be fooled. Eyes and the overall facial structures in general, just photographic. I think the highlight of version 5 moving forward probably is going to be a slight separation from what we already know and love about version 4 in general. Logo design is also getting nicely incorporated with a background. I have done this with version 4, and I will actually have a video on logo design separately with the current version 4 and with other versions as well. So do stick around for that on my channel, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to get more content, not just on Midjourney, but ChatGPT, DALL-E, and all things AI as a creative, from a creative. What really gets me are the photographs, because more than these kind of illustrative styles, which Midjourney already is excelling so wonderfully with the entire community working towards making such beautiful artwork, it is these photographic ones which look so real that it would fool the human mind. I think that's the next level of achievement that Midjourney version 5 could get. Any kind of like photographic images from this rating systems have looked absolutely photographic, like as if it was taken by a human photographer. Again, here the hands, so that's like I mentioned in a few images before, hands are looking strong, but still there is an issue. So I'm going to be super curious to see how hands are actually tackled in general. Some of them have been a hit, some of them have been a miss, because here obviously you can see her hands just mesh in, and that kind of feels a little off. I do appreciate that there is 4 fingers, but then again, we can't be nitpicking now, because obviously this is just for preview and this is just rating, but we can see the potential. We can see the potential that version 5 gives us. Like we can already see different game designs and even different kinds of typefaces that could be rendered with version 5. Multiple different typefaces in one graphic, and different perspectives with added densities and different weather types. Like this one looks really good and strong because of the fingers. I have been obsessing over the fingers because that has been something that has always been an issue. Now with this one, I think the fingers are looking solid. Version 5 will be releasing soon, but I thought that it would be a good idea to just show you a glimpse of what is possible and what is coming for Midjourney. If we all thought that DALL-E was ramping up, and now even ChatGPT and other things are all ramping up over there, Midjourney is also coming up with version 5. And while I'm speaking over here, on my left and right, you can also see some of the other images that I had selected while I was going through the 10,000 different images for the rating. I did it so you don't have to, but you can go ahead and do it. I'm going to also attach the link. If you're a paid member, you can just go into the link and you can also rate for yourself. I want to also mention that I have a newsletter which is known as the Art Tech Digest. It's a weekly newsletter where I put in all different kinds of things for all things AI. You can find it once a week, either on Sundays or Mondays. So if you're interested in new tech and the future of AI as a creative, from a creative, then don't forget to subscribe to that newsletter. Also, do check around my Twitter and my Instagram to see my daily artwork on AI art that I've been posting since last year, and on Twitter to see my process building. Sometimes I put my processes there so you can see that. I'm going to see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.